we're going to need someone, Karina is not going to be able to stay for the full meeting, so someone would offer to take notes. So we have published minutes of the meeting. So I need someone to take notes for us.
Not me. Not me, I did it once.
Bill, would you like to, can you do it this time?
I'll give it a shot.
Give it a shot. You can be brief.
Not very good at
That's fine, just be brief.
But we are being taped, so.
Because we are being taped also, so in case there's a problem, we can always go back to the tape and refer to it. Well, she's got the formal thing there. Fine. Okay, we would like to go ahead and start the meeting. It is now 7:08. So write down 7:08. And so the folks that are present, so Steve Carmichael is here. John is here. Both Johns. Tom and Karina and Jorge are all present. Gives us a quorum for the meeting. Okay, with that, we'll go straight into public comment, and we have two, so we'd like to be brief tonight. We have board members that need to leave here before 8 o'clock, so please come on in and.
I guess I got 15 minutes. You say you have two?
Total of 50, well, there's two folks, so a maximum of 15 minutes total. So if you just take 5 minutes or less.
Okay. Well, a lot of noises going around Petaluma about what's going on in this place. It's quite upsetting. And I wonder if you know what you're doing and if you're ready to take the consequences. If there have been major decisions made in private meetings in private homes without the Brown Act being respected, then there are grounds for pursuit. I'm going to talk tonight about the letter that Julie wrote for the paper, which has this bold title called Setting the Record Straight. As far as I can see, it's setting the record up to create a perception that Julie is innocent and being pursued by a hate-filled crowd. I mentioned this last meeting. This perception is based on a police report that is full of inaccuracies and was rejected by the police. How you think you could use a false document to build this perception to protect yourself from people who might disagree with you is beyond my capacity to understand. I can understand Julie doing it. It's a pretty shrewd move. Set it up so that anybody says anything against her, they're automatically out to vilify her. They're part of that hate-filled group with a terrorist orientation that wants to destroy PCA. But what is PCA? It's a public access station. Does Julie really understand what public access is? Are her people skills as good as her technical skills? Now, my worry is that this board has plunked a lot of money down on Julie's vision of this mobile unit. If you lose Julie, are you going to be able to find another ED that has mobile units in their CV? You have bought a path where you are now invested in here, and I think it would be quite embarrassing if she left under a cloud. So you are bound to protect her, which may be clouding your vision of how to see things, which is my fear. Because I do have a dream. I have a belief in what public access is, and I think it needs somebody with people skills, not technical skills, to organize it. PCA is losing this facility. Now, I mentioned that possibly Diane Riley-Torres might be a result of that. I was told by somebody on the board that that's not the case. In this police report, I see that Julie Atkins, the executive director, is saying that the school told her to do that, to file this report. Now, if I was the school and I saw somebody using my name falsely, because they did not tell her to do this, I'd be pretty upset, because that isn't just a wild, woolly member. That's a staff member who's misbehaving, who's overreacting, who's using this to create a perception about her adversaries. And I go back to it. This is an angry crowd. I wasn't part of it, but I understand Abraham Solar was. I understand Carolyn Torliette was. Are you going to tell me this is an angry mob that was creating danger to her? I understand, John Shribs, you were going in and out talking to this crowd. I think this is a false perception and the cynicism to think that you can build your argument and pursue it in the newspaper, you're pretending that nobody else is going to notice. Well, Helder has credibility. Abraham Solar has credibility. And that can be organized to bring the truth out. But will that help PCA? What are you guys up to? I think we're all waiting to find out. It would be interesting to know. And believe me, if PCA disappears, who really loved PCA? Who hates PCA? If I had to pick out if I had to choose who loved PCA more, Helder or Julie, my decision's clear. I know who's put in more hours and who would never suck this place for every penny it's worth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next.
Excuse me. I don't hate you. I hate what you do.
Your opinion of me is immaterial. I appreciate your comments.
Rich.
Yeah, couple things. One, I understand the board's having private meetings, and that's not right. The members should be notified. It should be open to the members. It actually should be open to the public to have private meetings. Fosters ideas of, what's the word, skullduggery, agendas, and it's not right. It should, if you're going to have a meeting, everybody should know about it. It shouldn't be in private, and it should be known what it's about. The other thing is, I got a notice letter of the special meeting, and notice of that meeting, and there was a letter in there I found very offensive. It seemed very biased and not really to the point. In fact, it was a lie. It said that the meeting was solely to remove members from the board, and that's a lie. And what I've seen happen in this put out from the board seems to be one falsehood after another. And I find that also very disturbing and a very poor example to the community. And people who tell false stories may think they're going to get away with it for a while, and they do for a while. But eventually the truth comes out, and there's nothing that'll follow you around more than your character. You can't shake it. That's all for the moment. Thanks.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Question.
First off, this is just comments.
Yes.
So everything. So we'll move right into director comments here.
Yeah.
Next. So if we're prepared to do that, we're going to go right into director's comments now.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question under director comments for both of you. You mentioned both
Just
of
comments, rather than questions.
you. Well, but
Okay.
I think we can ask questions. I do believe that we can.
You can ask.
Okay. Well, both of you came in and said that we're having private meetings. The interesting part about all this, where are you getting your information? What private meeting you're talking about? It goes back, allow me to finish, please. Since I cannot ask question, I can only speak, okay, under director comment. You guys, not just the two of you, you have done so many things in the past. Okay, you come in here and you make all this accusation and you assume that we're doing something that we're not doing, because to my knowledge, okay, I don't believe anybody in here had any private meeting. You know, so where are you getting your information? I mean, it's just like there's somebody who's just feeding you some false information and you come running with it. Long time ago, when I start with this, and I said, you know, don't jump up and down, cry wolf, 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 when there's no wolf. And I don't understand, I mean, John, last time, you came in here and you were dwelling and beating a dead horse. You know, you were beating a dead horse that was buried, and you dug it up and you were beating it again. And I'm like, where is he coming up with this information? You know, again, you know, here you come in with a police report. Well, how do you know there's not a mistake in there? But you come in here, you're throwing stuff out, and I just don't understand where are you guys getting your facts? You know?
You need some copy. Have you seen the police report?
You know,
It's a dead horse, you don't wanna see that?
I understand, but what I'm saying to you, okay, have you ever made a mistake? police could have put down something that was a mistake, in, you know, did you clarify it with the ED if that was, because I saw her reaction the minute you mentioned that, the school told me to. So I don't even have to ask her, so it could have been a simple mistake. It could have been just a simple mistake in typing or writing, and you just jumped all over it, you know? All I can say, I came on this board trying to help and do something, and we haven't been able to do diddly, because all we've been doing, dealing with the same thing over and over and over and over. Hour and a half each meeting, going for the same good for nothing. Counterproductive, okay? And it's, you know, it's like, it's to me, it seemed like there's a bunch of puppeteers, you know, and somebody's keep pulling the strings, you know, and that's how I see it. And I'm sick and tired of it. And that's just my comment. Thank you.
Well, basically, I know where you're getting the information from. I know exactly where you're getting the information about the private meeting. But let me tell you, it's wrong. It hasn't happened. It has not happened. And don't assume. I know exactly what emails you've been reading and who showed you the emails. But you're assuming. Now, if you've had a private, have you had, wait a minute, no, let me finish, because I let you finish. I let you finish. Now, let me finish. If you've had a private meeting, maybe that's what you're talking about, because this board hasn't had one. Maybe you have. Is that what you're talking about? Because you can't be talking about the private meeting that this board has had, because this board has had 0 private meetings at nobody's house. Not my house or anywhere else. So where did you get that from? And
I would like to clarify. that
Well,
I-
clarify.
I clarified, it would be on the tape, I said I've heard noise, I used the word noise, about private meetings, and if that's the case, then it is a problem.
Well,
That's all I
here's the
said.
thing. You don't come in here and assume and accuse at the same time. You come in here with facts. It's just like the thing last week at the last meeting about the cost of what them going to get the trailer. That was all wrong. And you come in here again tonight, pointing fingers, accusing, and talking about consequences, both of you, about something that has not happened. And then talking about private meetings at homes. I know exactly where you got that from.
We all do.
But it has not happened. So don't assume, don't accuse, speak about the things you know, not about the things you think. When I talk to you, when I talk to anyone else in here, I tell you about what I know. I don't tell you about what I think you're doing or what I assume you're doing. I tell you like it is. Don't insult me or this board by accusing us of stuff that you have no idea that what happened. It's just like I don't have it with me now, but the card that was distributed at the fairground by Mr. Moises. And it was completely and totally wrong, false, and everything else. And that's the kind of stuff that's been keeping us mired in quicksand, trying to fight off all of these phony accusations. If you don't know what you're talking about, talk to somebody, find out the facts first, and then come up and let us address it.
Would you like a reply?
Yes.
When I went to a meeting that should have been open to all the members and the public, and that was when you all got orientation for being on the board. I walked in there and was told I had to walk out. Okay?
because
Now, if
that
that's
was
not a
private.
private meeting, I don't know what is.
That's a closed session.
All right, well, if
meeting.
you have closed sessions,
That's
then
closed
why
session.
wouldn't we be concerned if there were private meetings?
That's because we had to, did you see this? This is from the rules. And we had members that weren't there, that we didn't discuss anything but
You're
the.
talking like we're pulling it out of the air,
No,
we're
you
not.
are, no, well, you are, you're talking
No, we're
about
not.
private.
I walked
This is
into
a
the meeting and
closed
was
session.
told to leave, it was private.
Yes, because.
Yes, okay, well then why
It's a-
wouldn't
it was-
we
it was-
ask if
it's a
there are any
closed
more-
session.
Let's stop, stop this. This is not appropriate for this meeting at this time.
But it's a closed session,
Yep.
young man, and it's about the rules. It was teaching the new board members the rule, and every board
Did I
member,
ask
you were
what
not a
it-
board
Did
member.
I ask you what it was about? You're talking about us inquiring about closed meetings.
Okay, the discussion is over, folks? There's no more discussion. Okay, we'll have no more discussion. Because of this type of thing that's going on, this interaction is inappropriate at this board meeting, both directions. Okay, we're gonna just say our opinion, and that's it, there's no more interaction. Because we can't go, you can say your opinion, but there's no interaction. So, they've had their chance to add an opinion, and they have their free speech, and we have our free speech. But this is not an agenda item, there's nothing to discuss, there's nothing to work on, just we say what we wanna say, and that's it.
I just don't like
I know.
being lied to
I know.
or lied
All you
about.
do is say that. And we'll deal with it. Okay, the next, other comments from the directors?
I have an announcement. I did send an email to John, about, resigning from the board member position, and so here's my letter to formalize that.
Okay, thank you.
And just to keep the record straight, I am not resigning to take the executive director's position. So I'm still on the board.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay. The, other comments?
Well, I'm giving notice also because I've heard rumors that someone said that I wanted to use PCA as my own personal tool for popularity. And they realize this is Petaluma, this is not Hollywood, New York, Chicago, or London, or Paris. This is Petaluma. I'm on to serve on the senior advisory committee, and the only reason I do this stuff is to give back to the community. So I'm putting in my notice as of the 27th, the last meeting that we have here. I also am resigning. I'm resigning because I don't, it's the way it is, it's dysfunctional, no one listens, and even this board can't be trusted. It's like, you know, you say something in closed session, it gets out in open session, but that's not the reason I'm leaving. The reason I'm leaving is people have said I had other agendas other than trying to serve this community. My intentions here was strictly to make PCA a better place for everyone, and it's turned into something very ugly, and I don't want to be associated with it anymore. After the 27th, I'm formally out of here.
I
Okay.
do have a note. Should I read it out from another director, or do you want me to just?
Good, it's, director's comments, that would be appropriate time to bring that forward.
I'll just read verbatim. May 20th, current president of Petaluma Community Access, pursuant to section 7.06A of the Petaluma Community Access Incorporated bylaws, I hereby submit my resignation from the Petaluma Community Access Board of Directors effective on May 21st, 2008 at 5 p.m. Sincerely, Russell H. Rosenberg.
Thank you. Okay, that's 3. Any others?
And that will be me. I will also be setting the last meeting will be the special meeting. And very much the same reason Mr. Green have said. You know, this is a very dysfunctional situation, especially for that tax nonstop. And from listening to you guys publicly, not at private meetings, saying to what you have put up with for so many years, and just for the last few months that I've been here, I've had more than a lifetime. And then for me, I will sit at the last meeting will be next meeting, and I hope that we can all stay together at the last meeting for stepping down and step together. So, but then I'll be giving it in writing also.
I have no comment.
Okay, all right, comment?
No comment.
Okay, for myself, I will also probably will be resigning from the board as of the 27th. I'll probably make it at, but I'll wait for the vote. The only reason why I will go through the next meeting is to help this organization transition. We are about to have a huge transition from where we are now, which is a very bad spot, into the next step, which I also consider even a worse spot. Because of the attacks, it's been a very rough 3 years. Continuous attacks, continuous dysfunction since I've been here, and I've heard about continuous dysfunction for years. I have attempted to do my best to try to change things around here, to make things better, to expand. We've had the largest board we've ever had. We've had the most diverse board we've ever had. We've accomplished more than anybody has in the last 9 years combined. In this last year, we have done tremendous things. We've gone digital with the equipment, both the servers and the cameras. We have purchased a mobile unit. We have added a website. We have added web streaming. We have reached out to the students and have the students on the air every day for announcements. We have gone to the football games, recorded football games, and put them on the air. We have accomplished more and done more, and we have people calling in. Since we advertised the mobile unit, every day people have called in and asked for help to record their events because they don't have the time to learn how to produce really good videos. So we've had lots of requests, and I've had lots of comments from the community. They want to have recordings at their sites, at their events, without having to go through the 100 hours plus to learn to be a good editor. And we are still planning on providing that type of service. So I will be helping this organization, PCA, at the next meeting through a process of removal, if anybody's left to be removed. At that point, to join with new members, there will be a process. We will have it legal. We'll have it by the bylaws, by the state laws. We'll make it a totally legal, upfront, and public how we're making this transition. And I'm going to do my best to help that along. We have also been very conservative in how we're going to leave this facility. We had planned to move this entire facility this next week. We were planning on this has been on the dates for over a month now, because we had the school district telling us we needed to be out, and they really wanted us out by June 1. So we were actually planning on moving this week. But what we're going to do, since we don't know what the new administration coming in is, so they're going to have to deal with the actual move. It's how they want to set things up. And so we will help with that transition. I want to leave on a positive note that I'm doing my best to make help for the members. This is a member-run organization. The board, the staff works at the direction of the executive director. The executive director works at the pleasure of the board. The board works at the pleasure of the members. And the members are going to speak next week, and hopefully the events will unfold. And I will be at that meeting to explain the accusations that have been made to force this meeting to happen. And I will explain that to all the members present. I'm also going to explain some scenarios of what is going to happen down the road. And these scenarios, 2 years ago I wrote a letter to the board, an open letter, explaining about the dysfunction that was going on in this at PCA. And without having to point direct fingers, I still stand by that letter. What I was saying, it's still true today, and it's the same folks who are involved. And unless that changes, PCA is probably going to die. And it's basically comes down to that the same folks doing the same things over and over again for years and years. It is not because of us at this point. This has been the 4th administration in 3 years. And it's run into the same problem again and again. People are leaving, nobody's staying because of the constant attacks from a few individuals who actually run this place socially and up to, until Julie came along, technically. And when we took away the technical control from these individuals and the social control of these individuals, then the attacks have continued and gotten worse until they're going to come back into control on next Tuesday, and they can have it. At the same time, I'm also planning on proposing to both the members, the community, the school board, and to the city to make the changes needed to keep the 3 stations alive and to put them on a new track and a new mission forward. The new mission is going to have to be PCA has been and always been Channel 26. It is public access, and it deserves to be members only, for members, by members, for production of free speech. And absolutely, we have supported that 100%, always have, and always will. We have always done that. What has been missing from this place is the contracts have not been taken care of. The expectations from both the city and the school and the community have all been neglected for 9 years. And I've heard complaint after complaint from all three places, all three markets here in Petaluma. So we have the marketplace who actually receive our information out there in the community. We have all the folks who have the nonprofits, the community activities, the events, the shows, the plays, Cinnabar Theater, Boys Club, all these folks would like to have some participation and can't because the folks here did not help them appropriately. So I'm going to be making a proposal where everyone hopefully can win. PCA needs to be Channel 26 on its own by itself. That's the one thing that needs to happen. The other thing, the school district needs to step forward and say, yes, it really does want to work with the education channel and the portion of the funds that it deserves to run it, plus the equipment it needs, and that's what we've built. We've built the mobile unit for the community, for the school, and for the city. And so that's where it belongs. Members for PCA, for the actual Channel 26 purposes, several members, including the folks who have been active in this debate, have said they don't want the mobile unit at all. Fine, they don't deserve the mobile unit. The mobile unit deserves for the folks and for the mission it was designed for, which is the schools, the city, and the community. There's a contract, not just for Channel 6, which is the public access channel. PCA had a responsibility to not only serve Channel 26 public access, but also to serve the school district for the education channel, to serve the city for the public, for the government channel. And minimum effort put into those areas. And to serve the community, not only to help the community to produce the shows for public, for display, to help the individuals, not only that, but also to do it with and for the community as needed, which is what is being done across this nation for other public access stations and channels. So this has not occurred here. We are still stuck 10 years ago in an old model that does not function and will not function and is dysfunctional. It is being run by the members, for the members, and that does not work for this community. This community, from what I've heard from many sources, does not work, and everyone says they are dissatisfied with PCA as it has been run for 10 years, and they would like to see it move forward to where it could be. Everyone's hoping it could change. All the leaders I've talked to in the community, at the city, at the school board, want the change. This is not just for members by members. That's fine. That's 1/6 of the mission of this organization. We are mandated by our missions statement, by our bylaws, to commit to the city, the school, and this community, which it has not. So, my proposal before this board and before at the members' meetings I will be making next week is that we make possible changes that are needed, which means dividing this organization, splitting it apart into its parts, so that the members get what they want. Free speech, Channel 26. They absolutely need it, deserve it, and need to have it, and they need to be independent. There also is the management of the technology. Members don't need to be involved in the management of the technology. They just need to produce the free speech and get it on the air. That's what they deserve. There is a franchise with this organization to do that. That franchise needs to move on to a different organization. And it's up to the school district, the school board, and all the nonprofits in town and all the event planners in town to organize that particular organization. We'll come up with a possible recommendation. We'll come up with some suggestions. There's a team here that is ready to move forward to make this happen. So we were going to help with that and propose that to the city and to the school board, and it's going to be up to the city to make that move. Because they're going to have the finances, they have the actual franchise for that. Public access still needs to happen, and I'm all for PCA, and I've always worked hard for this last 3 years to make PCA the public access station it does. I just wanted to improve it, make it better, and add so that it fulfilled its full mission, not just its one piece of mission. Okay, so with that, so I will be resigning on as of probably 8 p.m. on the 27th. I will get the meeting started, and after the meeting, the procedures are in place, so there's no chaos, so there's no arguments as to who's going to transition into. This organization needs to transition to something that's legal and appropriate and proper by the members, all the members. And so we have a proposal in front of us. We will talk and go through tonight for this process and procedure for transfer of the power which belongs with the members, who will vote next week as to what they really want to do with this organization. And we'll have a new start as of next Tuesday. So with that, I'm going to move on. That's my comments for tonight. And I will be moving on, and I will be helping this organization also move on to where it needs to go.
One thing, I will make a comment next week at the membership meeting.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, with that, so we're going to go into the actual agenda. And I will be, everything I've said tonight, I will repeat. I would like to go with a leave with a positive note and provide with a positive solution to make everybody get what they need, not what they want, but to get what they need to be able to function, keep the 3 stations on the air, keep it moving, keep it flowing. The public doesn't need to know about our internal strife and battles. We just keep things moving forward, and just we can make things better. But it's going to have to be done in a different way with a whole different organizational structure. And so that's where we're going. All right, with that, okay, let's move on to the agenda, unless there's other comments. The board will move to agenda approval. All in favor of moving to the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
All right, any nays? Again. All right, so treasurer's report.
Okay, I have 3 items to go over. One, the audit. The audit will be presented in June, at the June meeting. Excuse me?
The minutes, Karina was our secretary and took minutes, and she provided them from last time. We don't have those printed tonight. At this point, it's a moot point. We can, I think, Julie, do you still have the electronic on your computer?
Perhaps at the next meeting, we can present
So,
those. I'm sorry they weren't printed in time.
So at the next board meeting, which is by the new board, they can go ahead and approve those minutes at this time.
I was mostly specifically interested in the report out from the closed session.
Okay, report out from the closed session. Let's go ahead and do the executive report. I will do that at that time.
I think you were on treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report.
Yeah, that's, okay. 3 items. The audit for fiscal year ending 6/30/07 will be ready at the next meeting. Absolutely, 100%. I can attest to that. Secondly, PCA has completed the inventory, both of capital and low-value assets. It has been presented on, or converted to Excel spreadsheets. The final step is that the inventory be certified, which I will be doing probably in conjunction with Steve Carmichael and anybody else. The process of the certification, we are going to randomly select a number of items off of the inventory listing and physically examine to make sure that the serial numbers, the descriptions and so forth match up. And then at that point, it will be certified, it will be presented to the city, it will be available to the public for anybody who wants to see it. Thirdly, the financial statements for the month of March. Really only 2 items there I want to address, or unless anybody else has anything to ask about. If you look at page 1, KPCA expenses there toward the bottom, $3,527. That was a bill that was due to PG&E, and we are currently working with the bookkeeper to invoice the other 2 parties involved with the radio station. That being the local church, whose name I can't remember, and also Sonoma State University. The bill there for $3,500 was virtually in arrears, and it had to be addressed. And the other 2 parties are being invoiced for their one-third share. Second page of the income statement, web expenses. 2449, that's the final large installment. There's still about another $1,500 that needs to be paid, but that, we're still under budget on the web expenses. Everything else, I believe, is self-explanatory. Keep in mind, this is the month of March, and it shows a negative there of 5,246. There was a check from Comcast that did arrive at the beginning of April in the amount of approximately $56,000. Anything else? Any questions, anybody?
In the audit process, is there any comments at this time that we need to worry about?
I have read the draft of the report. I've gone over it. I'm happy to say there are no findings there, which findings essentially address issues related to internal controls. At last year's audit, I believe we had 11 findings, 11 internal control deficiencies. All 11 of those items have been addressed. And we have received acclaim, we have received kudos from the auditors in relation to our cooperation and providing information fast and without any hassle. And the audit will be available next month for anybody who wishes to see it. I have reviewed the draft. As far as I can tell, it does look good, but it's in its final stage right now.
Okay, so that's one more thing that this board and the staff have accomplished this year, which is better than the last 3 years that I'm aware of, that the audit process has gone as smoothly, as powerfully, and as well, and as financially sound. We are more financially sound than we have ever been before in the history of PCA. That's another accomplishment this board has made this last year. So I want to be real clear about the accomplishments we have made this year with this board. Through all the strife and through all the attacks, we have done more than anybody else has done before. All right. Okay, anything else for the treasurer's report? Okay, executive director's report.
Okay, update on the move, there really isn't an update. As you point out, it's been put on hold. You know, I didn't think it would be appropriate for me to start deciding where things go, because we have new people coming in, and I think that should be their decision. So we're leaving it in good and operating order, and so that is the update, is there is no update. The other quick thing that's not agendized that I would like to say, however, is that despite, and respectfully, John and Rich's feelings that I may not be warm and fuzzy, the truth is, I try to be warm and fuzzy. I don't always accomplish that, but what we have accomplished is a clean audit, which, as you point out, is the first time in many years. As the executive director, fiduciary responsibility is I take it very seriously, and so we have cleaned up our financial house along with this fabulous board and Tom Vaskert, and I think that's something to be proud of. It was our job to take us into the digital age, and we did that. That was the job one that I was given by this board, and that's been accomplished. So, you know, in addition to creating a mobile studio and reaching out to the people in this community, and those folks know who they are, and they know the job that we've done, and they know the effort that's been put in. Now, anytime you do a job, there are some folks who don't like the direction that you take, and they don't like what you do. But the truth is, I was appointed by this board, and I reported to this board, and as far as I know, my bosses were happy with what I did, and that's my job. Had it been a different group of bosses who wanted me to do something different, then I would have done that, you know. And I also made decisions on my own that I'm proud of and I stand behind. I will say that as a private citizen, I am an employee. I'm not elected. I'm not appointed. I'm a private citizen. And I do have legal protection. I have protection under the law against slander. So I hope that, as of now, that will stop. I hope that, for everyone's sake, that ends. Absolutely, it should have ended a long time ago. I hope absolutely, as of this day, it could be, the record could be set straight, that whether you like what I did or didn't, I did the best that I could. I was hired to do a job, and I did that job to the best of my ability. I hold my head up high. I know that I cared, and I know that I tried. And disagreements aside, there's no excuse for name-calling and slanderous accusations. And I would say to anyone, should that continue, you do so at your own peril. Thank you.
We won't call you a terrorist.
Can I ask for clarification?
You may ask for clarification.
Does that mean that the plans for the move to Keller Street are dead in the water?
No, I said I'm not, I will clarify that. I've said that the plans for the move are not dead in the water as far as I know. The lease has been signed by Petaluma Community Access, and it is obligated to all contracts, regardless of who is on the board. What I said is I've put that on hold because there appears to be, as you can tell tonight, most of the board has resigned. There'll be a change in the board, and so I think the new people ought to be able to make decisions about where they want things to go. So I've stopped in deference to that, and the move is just waiting until we have new direction as to how everybody wants it done.
What do you mean by where things are gonna go, in the new facility?
That would be correct. In the new
You're
facility.
not gonna be there to tell where to go?
Okay, let me make some explanations, please. Okay, at this moment in time, we have continued with the open meetings, the decisions that have been made, which included the mobile unit, its purchase and its move and where its place is. And the city has offered to give it a free parking space at the moment and where it is. So that has all been openly discussed. The Keller Street, we have openly discussed and found the best place possible for PCA to exist, either in its current form or in its future form. That agreement has been made prior to this members meeting coming up, and so that contract stays. There is a 2-year contract with the owners of that building. PCA will be there for 2 years and pay for 2 years, whether they're there or not. The members that are going to take over the board, and as of next week, will have a choice to either use the Keller Street and pay for it, or they can use and go wherever they like, because they'll be their choice. They will be in control of the move. They still have to pay for it, because it's the contract. There's a 2-year contract has been signed.
And they'll have like 3 days to move?
No. Well, you have some options. We did not feel it was appropriate for this board and the current staff to move under the current conditions. Knowing that there was a hostile takeover happening next Tuesday, we felt it was wrong for us to dismantle everything, be in the middle of the move, and then be accused of blacking out the station as a cause of the members' meeting and the turmoil. So we wanted to, basically we're going to be handing over a completely, fully functional running station that's completely operational to the new members who will become the board, and they will have the choice to do it with what they see. There is, we'll be handing over the keys shortly to the school district, and the new board will need to talk to the school district, and you can argue the case for what you need to do for the near future. So that'll be up to the new board to do that. And that'll be one of the first things you do, is actually make the move.
Can I ask
Yeah.
one question? Julie, did you call anyone a terrorist?
No, for the record, I never called anybody a terrorist, and actually, the school district wanted PCA to move by June 1st, but you actually have till the end of July, and I have the letter in my office.
Well, that's interesting.
So I don't think that puts anybody in any sort of peril.
That was
I
a
think
letter
it's been
from the
managed.
school district that said they were open to the possibility and allowing that if because of the need here. However, there is also, I know from the need of this school to turn this into a classroom before August 15th. This has to be turned into 2 classrooms. And they have less than 2 months to do it. The local school, because they have to make that happen in 2 months, they need us out of here ASAP. They want us out of here now. So they were generous enough knowing the difficulty of the move, because we argued the case of how difficult the move would be. But we were ready as of yesterday to start the move yesterday and have that completely completed. As of June 1, we would have been completely out of this place. That was the plan. But it's the members' meeting next Tuesday that disrupted the whole thing. If the members' meeting, if they had just put it off 2 weeks even, or even come to this meeting and said, we'll do it next month, the move would have been made, the whole thing would have been set up beautifully. The technical prowess of the folks in charge of the station are far superior than anybody's been here before. It was totally digital, totally new. It's computerized, it's formatted, and it's unfortunate that the new folks walking in the door will have no clue how to deal with all new equipment. And so it's going to be an issue.
I'm confident with the volunteers from the community that it will work.
It will work. It's going to have to work, because that's how it's going to have to get done. All right, so okay, there's nothing on consent calendar. Anyway, so the move is going to be up for grabs for the new board. And anything else to report from the executive director besides the move?
Nothing else.
Okay, the other thing on the agenda we'll get to shortly will be the actual procedures for the transition. And that we've said it, we spent a lot of time to look at the legal and the appropriate bylaws and what needed to happen to make the transfer. We'll get to that shortly. Okay, so from the executive committee, I'll report out of that basically we met in mass with the whole board at the closed meeting last session, and I'll just report out of that. There's two actions that came out. Those are the only two things under real discussion at that time. One was a staff situation, and we have come to an agreement with Julie Atkins for as the executive director, and so there's an agreement and a settlement in place for a change. So that change will be taking effect soon. And so other than that, I can't say anything else. We're bound by the law, the lawyers and such who were involved in the, we sought out a good lawyer to manage and to discuss with us all the possibilities, and we came up with the best solution for PCA. It was absolutely, I can guarantee you, that our resolution and the settlement that we made was the absolute best possible situation we could have ended up with, given the situation. So with that, the other action from that closed session was a matter with Diane Riley-Torres about her membership. We were really going over the procedures of the expulsion and also about the legal matters of the fee that was due. And our lawyer is going to be taking over that, and the fee was discovered to be, according to the rules, we discovered that the fee is due to the lawyers who are handling the case at that time. So we've put it back to the lawyer, to our lawyer, PCA lawyer, to work with the lawyers at that time who were working for the insurance company for that case. And so all fees are due actually not to PCA, but to those lawyers, and they will be seeking payment of those fees shortly. So that's the other result that will be achieved. So that was been passed on, because that's what was told to us was the legal requirement to make. So those are the two things from the closed session. Any other, did I miss anything from the closed session? Okay, is that appropriate for what I said?
Absolutely.
All right? Okay, so I didn't misread or misstate anything from that closed session. All right. Okay, with that, we're going on to the any of the other committees reports. As far as I know, there's no other committee report. Okay, old business. There is none. The only thing that was carrying over is the Diane Riley-Torres, and we've decided to. At the moment, we're just carrying through it. We're not going to have a resolution on the expulsion or not, so that will be resolved by the new board that's going to be formed next Tuesday. It's in their hands to deal with that. The new business coming in, but as of that meeting, the only thing that's official is that since it is up for decision-making, officially she's not a member and cannot act as a member until it's resolved. Okay, new businesses. There's for the members for the meeting next week to come up with the actual procedures. Okay, so after several discussions, both with the lawyer, you can go.
My family is out there.
Go ahead. You're out of here. You don't.
Thank you very much.
We're just reporting out.
Jack,
Yeah.
a comment about the last item you mentioned about Diane Riley-Torres,
Yes.
a member that had her membership pulled. It is my understanding that the procedure to pull her membership was not followed. Therefore, she should still be a member until the rules are followed. So it's not a matter of, well, she's not a member until we follow the rules. It's a matter of.
The rules as such
Yes.
from the bylaws and what we've read into it. And again, we had a lawyer help us out with this. Is it is pulled until it is resolved, and basically it's like you've been, so just like in a legal court. So it's been pulled, and until it is actually resolved before the board in appropriate court, and there was some other options we were going to carry through until the members' meeting came up. It would have been resolved at this time. And I'm pretty sure it would have been resolved with a continuation of the expulsion myself. I think that's what would have been resolved, given the case, my readings of the case. So, so the case stays as is, that she's lost her membership until this board resolves it and admits her back in and
So
overrides the prior decision.
Is it a matter of actually being lost or just suspended until the matter is settled?
It is lost until this board reverses that action, and I'm sure the next board will have its say and its desires and will change whatever it would like to do. So we've decided to put it into, basically it's limbo until the new board makes its decision what it would like to do in this case. So we decided not to change the reading on it at this time. So that's where it's at. As far as we know, legally and appropriately by the bylaws and by the state laws and such, it stays put until resolved. And which I hope will be carried over swiftly and quickly. When the new board comes in, I'm sure there'll be a special meeting called within 2 days. They will go through the emergency meeting immediately after 2 days' notice and do what needs to get done to get this place moved. So I'm expecting that to happen, and I'm hoping that happens. Because we need to keep the goal, keep the 3 stations on the air, so as far as the public is concerned, this is an internal matter, and only an internal matter, and it will move forward, and the public will not see anything or know anything of the turmoil that's been going on for years. All right. How the next meeting? Okay. Okay, a letter, okay, has this physically been mailed yet?
Yes.
Okay. To figure out the best way possible, again, consulting with the lawyer as to appropriate procedures by both state law and corporate law and bylaws. The best way forward seemed to be there was you're not allowed to add members after the members request this meeting. So you can't pack the membership with one side or the other side. So no new members since a prior date. See, what date was that? That was March, 27th of March. So as of 27th of March, the membership got closed for the vote for this particular meeting. So whoever was a member on that date is a member and has voting privileges. And we went through the records. The staff took several days to make sure that the appropriate members had been sent the ballot. The ballots at this meeting, I don't know, have you seen? Okay, you've got a copy of that? Okay, so the members will be able to either mail in their ballots if they can't be there at the meeting physically, or the members at the meeting, they can bring their ballots in at that meeting. Now, according to the lawyer we consulted on this, there's 2 rulings. There's one for the bylaws that we have, and then there's also state laws that have to be followed for corporations like this. And according to our bylaws, the membership can have a quorum of 10% at that meeting and make a judgment at that meeting. According to the state laws, we were told by the lawyer, is that there needs to be 51% of the membership actually mail-in ballot or in present for an actual true quorum by state law. So that was one of the expectations. So he said other lawyers might argue with that, but that was his reading of the state law. So, so what we're going to do is kind of somewhere in the middle. But since we have everyone pretty much resigning, we're going to go ahead and the meeting's going to happen. As long as there is a 10% quorum there, and hopefully there's more than a 50% quorum of the about 150 members, there will be that vote and meeting will occur. The people can either mail in their ballot or be present and turn it in, which will be counted at that meeting, just like prior meetings have been held. So there'll be a count, and then for the removals, and then So we have the ID codes, so everyone's ID'd in for numbers and coding. So the ballot, a lot of this now is going to be old news, since several folks are going to be resigning and eventually leaving the board prior to it. And then the nominees can be made before, by mail, or they can be made at that meeting. So they can go ahead and self-nominate or nominate others at the meeting. So as long as so everyone knows, that all the members know that if they want to be part of this board, they are welcome to be part of this board, whether or not they can make that meeting or not. So it's at least as open and as public and as legal as possible. Yes?
So anybody who received this that was sent out on March 27th is a member?
Yes.
It's been vetted by the...
Yes. Going to the list.
and-
So we're going by the official list of members that we have on March 27th. As is the date, the Lord told us to pick. So we said that's what his reading was. So we've gone ahead with that.
And why did he say the 27th?
60 days.
60
prior.
days prior to the actual meeting itself. So again, the purpose of that law, I said, was to prevent one side or the other side, or a party essentially filling the membership with their own folks, that's getting their wives and their husbands and their cousins and their aunts and their uncles and sons and daughters all to sign up as members and create a coup illegally by signing up family members. Yeah, so.
What happens if there's not a quorum?
Okay, if there's not a quorum, then, since it is already going to be a members' meeting, unless you make it legal, you can't do any business at the members' meeting. You can recall another meeting, and which again, 30 days, because to call a members' meeting takes 30 days. Or the remaining people on the board at the next board meeting, and they can call an emergency board meeting for this, probably, but you have to look at the laws and how it's done. You can actually reorganize and actually start admitting more people to the board to fill the slots that have been removed. And the members can do this at the next proper board meeting. So, and given the state of the move, it has to be done quickly within the month. I am anticipating a quorum is going to show up, because I understand a lot of the community and the members who, from all factions, are going to show up. I understand it's been advertised, so wide. So that's what I've heard back. So I'm expecting a full 51% to show up.
It would have to be, we've mailed out roughly 200, well, not roughly, we've mailed out exactly 213 ballots. There are 20 ballots left who are not, don't have good addresses. So that gives you, 233. So to be a quorum, you would have to have half of that in order for it to be a legal vote.
But by the state
By the
regulations
state
that we're told by our lawyer,
corporations
but since our bylaws are different from state law, they said, well, that's where the question arises. So according to the bylaws, it only takes 10% of the membership to show up, which would be 23 people. And then you have a meeting, official meeting, and then a majority, 51% of the members showing can actually take action on removal and addition of members, as stated in the, just one addition, the actual meeting we're going to allow to be on the 27th? Okay, on May 27th. That is 28 days after the members actually submitted, requested the meeting. By the bylaws, it's required to be 30 days. So it's like 28, so it's 2 days off from the legal, according to the bylaws. We're not going to fight it. We're not going to make the meeting officially. This board could have chosen to ignore it and say it's not legal because it's not 30 days. It's technicality, but it's possible. We did not do that. We decided we act on the part of the members. Members want to make change, so be it. We will follow the members' directive. And we'll have the whole meeting.
General public,
General public, yeah, it's a public meeting. So all the members of the public can be there and are invited to come if they so wish. But only the members can vote. That's why we did the ballot, because it'd be very confusing as to who's a member and not a member, and it's a hand vote. No, it can't be done that way. So that's why it has to be done through the mail to the members, and they must have this document in hand to vote.
With the ID, with a picture ID?
Yeah, it has a,
As long as they have received this at their house,
it would look like this.
yeah, so they can have someone else bring it to us. As long as they voted on it, they can bring, anybody can mail it to us, the government can mail it to us. They can physically bring it in, but as long as it's got mailed to their house, they can bring it in and it's a vote. So all they do is get this at that meeting.
Question, John, did we ever get a membership list posted?
Okay, we have that is available to you. It is the members' names. This board has taken that action, and which is followed up according, again, to what is appropriate legally, which is the members' names, not their addresses, emails, or phone numbers, which is private, which we have requests not to publish any of the private information. So that is available to you.
Available on request?
That has been given out. Is that correct?
Yes,
Right.
the members list was made available to Karina Garcia, who requested it and said that she would distribute it, so I gave her that list some weeks ago, in fact.
Would it be possible to get another list on request if we didn't get one from her?
Yes, the list is available anytime to anybody who makes this request,
Well, not
a list of
anytime.
names.
We need
Need
little-
some notice, you know.
we have to collate it, so,
Yeah,
Okay, I assumed that you had it in your computer, just a matter of.
no, it's not, it has to be,
print.
no, it's not, I'm sorry.
it's a database, and the database is in the computer, and to print out something, so,
I
Given
would
the
like,
staff-
I would like the list, there's probably other people
Right.
going to be asking for it too, so.
right, we will have that
We can
list for
make a motion,
sure.
make it whatever necessary.
We can have that list at that meeting, and I think it would be appropriate, given that we need that list as soon as possible. Can we just have that list printed as soon as possible?
The way it'll work is when people come in, they'll check in and they'll check the list against the ballot. As to those members who would like to have a member list with the names, please make a request either by email or at the front desk, and we'll get it to you as soon as we can.
All right, are we gonna have it posted? Like, it seems to me the bylaws say that it should be posted in the building somewhere in the
Yeah,
office.
it's not posted.
Yeah,
Everything.
but
Again, this is it's available at request of members, everything. So this is a public document that, these membership names, are required.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, and we can have, just about anybody who actually makes that request can actually see the names of the members of the organization. But again, being a nonprofit and has a special mission in place, because there's other nonprofits with missions in place, and so we found out, according to the regulations that we were told, that it's the names, but not the addresses, phone numbers, and emails. So we can make that available to you, and if I'm correct, if the board agrees with this, we can just have printouts, a stack of them, ready to go if anybody wants them, just have them available
If I
at
may,
the time.
if I may.
Yeah, they can come forward.
No,
So-
I understand.
I'll make-
So that list has to be, at least at the next meeting, has to be there and checked off.
No, I understand that, but what I'm understanding from Richard, okay, he wants a copy for himself. And what I'm saying is, we can check the list that was mailed out, so we have, the current board did everything by the book and it's covered,
Mhm.
okay? But, let the new board worry about all the members, the member board, because God knows who's gonna stay on, who's gonna just, say we've had enough of coming into meetings as a member.
However, this has been going on for years and years,
Yeah.
and the members list is
We got it by the end of the
legally allowed to be handed out, and has always been, that has been an argument in this
we
place
have
for
to
years
win.
and years.
So Julie, this list she would have
I will
available
have, I will have the member list printed out at the front desk for anyone who likes it by Friday. Will that work for you? Will that work for you by Friday?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
terrific.
but,
I need to ask something also. Will you have the member list of the members that can actually vote on the 27th, or
The
will
member list of the
the full-
people who can vote on the 27th is what I will have at the meeting on the 27th.
So you
The
won't
list
have
I
any-
will post at the front will be that same list.
Okay, so
Okay.
we won't have anybody that signed up after March 27th?
That is correct. According to the bylaws, it has to be 60 days prior to a special members meeting, and that's what we honored.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Actually, that's state law, we were told.
State law.
State law.
I believe it's, he also pulled it from the bylaws, but I
Okay.
could be incorrect.
All right, so anyway, so again, we are going to do our best to give a fair, legal, and appropriate transition to the management of this organization for the 4th time in 3 years. This has
Ron,
happened.
would you announce where the meeting's gonna be?
The meeting's gonna be at Lucchese Center, 7 PM on May 27th, which is which is next Tuesday. So if anybody's watching the recording, the public is very welcome to come in. And at this meeting, one of the things we still have to discuss is the actual process of receiving the votes in, counting the votes, and trying to make it as smooth and easy as a transition. There is some discussions that I would like to have. I would like to have maybe a format whereas there's a list of whereas as to reasons why this meeting was called. That needs to be read at the meeting. And being that there's lots of accusations in the arguments for having this meeting, I would like to have the opportunity to address those reasons and also to address why and make the proposals and ideas that I have for making the changes needed after I'm gone.
Are we all gonna be allowed the same privilege?
I would like the outgoing board to have the opportunity, since this is removal of members of the board, we are allowed to argue our case as why we should be able to stay. We've been presented a case, the whereas is a case against us. We are allowed to say back why we should not be removed from the board or any argument we wish to make for that. So each one of us that are trying to be removed from the board can have a say. So it's up to us. And at this point, because of the length and depth of the disagreements, I feel you should have as much time as you like to argue your case against why you should not have been removed from the board or why the meeting should not have happened. And then the meeting can take place at the end and the voting can continue. I'm planning on taking about between 5 and 10 minutes.
I'll probably take about the same.
Okay. So we do need, Casey does close at 9, so we have 2 hours total. So, and the voting process takes about 30 minutes to actually count the votes, if we're efficient at it. And so we want to be able to have all the debate discussion up front to be less than a total of about 45 minutes to an hour.
And I hope that the people that has been totally against this board, that has been totally against PCA in the process, I hope that this satisfies you. I hope that this makes you happy, and I hope that you can take it on and make it something great. I don't wish you no bad luck, but you asked for it, you got it. You basically accused everyone up here just about as racist. You called us names that are ridiculous. And I just hope that this move satisfies whatever your agenda has been. And I hope from this, I will be arguing my case as to why I'm leaving, because I've been accused of some stuff that is just unbelievable. And for the sake of Julie, I just want to say thank you, because her courage that she's shown through all of this has been unbelievable. At the last meeting, she was accused of spending $70,000 on something that never happened. She was also said she called people terrorists. And Richard, you just said the same thing, terrorists. If you read the notes, if you know what was actually said, she didn't call anyone a terrorist.
I read it.
She
I know what
said
it
she
says.
agreed, she said they were using terrorist tactics. So who was called, no one was called a terrorist. It's like,
More
Go,
than,
go, go.
more
It's
than,
the-
more than
we
happy
need
to
to move
have a
on.
discussion with you about it if you
Okay.
like.
yeah.
You know,
This is
we're
no
not-
discussion at this point, let's just move on. We need to be done with here. All right, so anyway, I propose that at the meeting, we're gonna open up. We will read the document that started the meeting. We will then allow the accused, which is the members of the board who are being removed, to have their say as to why they feel that this is wrong or right and do what they want to do. Last for about 5 minutes per person, 10-minute maximum for sure, for any individual board member to say back. And since we're basically all leaving anyway, so there's going to be not much removal going on, since we're all leaving anyway, then they'll go right into the nomination process and into, well, there's still 2 board members that are staying, I understand, everything, so.
Well, you don't know, there are people voting.
So it still may have to, the vote still has to be dead, since there's still 2 members of the board who are still present and understand not be resigning. That vote still needs to be had.
Who's
Decide whether they stay or go.
Who haven't decided to resign?
Jorge and Octaviano.
Oh.
And I haven't heard from Bruno, but there's not lack of
Thought
presence here.
Viviano said at the last meeting, he said he's not gonna stay on.
He's not gonna stay on?
That's what I recall, he was staying right next to me.
Okay, well, we need to have something official.
Yeah, but no, I understand,
Right.
but I believe, and Bruno,
This is his third meeting, I believe he's missed, so,
no, Bruno, I cannot speak for, other than I did happen to see him on Saturday at the car show. Was it Saturday? I believe it was Saturday at the car show. And he told me he was gonna be here, but he very much told me he's done. You know, he told me that, you know, that he's very disappointed, for the same reasons that we are, and the same thing that's wasting the time and time again at the meeting. But that's a discussion I had with him, but he needs to formally announce it.
right, he needs formally announced it.
Octaviano called me today and said the same thing, that he doesn't wish to remain, but I think, it's up to Octaviano.
To actually report in,
To
and to
report.
give us an official,
Exactly.
so if you see him, so could you, make the contact for us, please, and at least, make the request to have that formalized?
Ma'am,
Well, he expressed to me that he wished to formalize it at the Tuesday.
Okay, so he's going to do that. Okay,
That
that's
was
fine,
what
that's all we need to know.
That's what he said today.
I have a question, it might be out of order. Is there a way we can just bring a big sack and kidnap Carmichael?
Not really.
Poor guy, he's gonna
He
live
works
all
at-
alone.
He's working at the desire of the city, as a city designated, and the city has.
Well, Steve, if it means anything to you, for whatever it's worth, for the time I've been here, it's been wonderful working with you.
Okay. And I
You
think Stephen has two capacities. He's a designated board member, director, and also, he's also one of the officers. So you can go ahead and, because the transition, it's gonna be up to you as to how you handle both of those. Those are two different positions, and you can actually do whatever, it's up to you to deal with those two positions that you hold. Because at the meeting, once, if I step down at the meeting, or if I'm not there, if I get sick, anything happens to me between now and then, it's your meeting. And then if you're not there, it goes to the secretary, who's no longer here, which then goes to the treasurer. And then if I'm not the treasurer, then it goes to the longest standing board director. So, which then would go to Jorge, since you're the longest standing director after that. So you would be running this, so if anything happens, if we don't show, if something happens to us, you're running the meeting.
Yeah, but then I don't have any comment about it.
Yeah, but anyway, but that's the bylaws, it just passes down to you, and since you're, unless you change your mind or do something different. Anyway, but I'm planning on being there and to help with the transition and help with the organization to make sure the proper procedures are followed, so that it's at least as healthy as a transition as possible.
I don't understand, Jorge, when you say you have no comment. You have to have an opinion one way or the other as to what's been going on. I don't, whatever side or wherever you stand, as a member of this board, I feel like we would like to know where you stand, one way or the other, if you.
You can do that next week.
Next week.
All the rest of
Yeah,
us.
I prefer next week.
Next week, yeah, you can explain
any point.
Everybody
any
explain
points that
it.
you would like to do.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Mhm.
All right, well, as far as,
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be right now.
can we end the meeting now?
Okay, actually, there's still,
Oh.
there is, in closed session, there is one thing that came up yesterday, or today, I think, that came up that we need to, it's a staff situation. We need to go over, it should be a very short thing, but there is one closed session thing about a staff issue. So we'll need to handle that hopefully very quickly, and we can adjourn right after that.
Is there enough people to handle it, do you?
We had a quorum to start, and the meeting continues.
Okay.
And we are required to finish the meeting as is and make the decisions that need to be made.
Okay,
So as long as we started with the quorum, we can continue.
okay.
All right. Anything else? Any other? Is that, so are we agreed with the plan, what I have for the session?
Yes.
I believe I
Okay.
understand it. I have, Lisa will be the staff member who will be present, checking people off. So when you come in, you just present, you'll have your letter, you'll present your sign, I apologize to Octaviano, this is his. You'll show this ID, you'll have a signature here, and then she'll separate it so that it's a secret ballot. You'll give us the ballot and your nomination form, put it in the ballot box, and then an impartial group will count the ballots, and that's, as I understand, how you want it done. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Lisa will be checking folks in as far as the ballot count. As
Against
they
the
walk in,
list
as
of
the list,
eligible
checking against the
voters.
list, and then all the letters and the ballots can be put into a box. And then, after we've had the discussions, then we'll close off discussion and move forward into the actual proceedings. In which case I will be handing it over, because I will be resigning, right, after I have my say, I'll be resigning at that moment publicly to the members. And so I'll be turning over the meeting to next in command, and then it'll be passed down as you see fit.
Okay, I believe we
All right.
understand.
I move to adjourn the regular meeting.
So adjourn the regular meeting, move into closed session.
Aye.
Okay? All right, gentlemen,